Hey coaches and players, I'm excited to dive into this Ja Morant film session for players to help you increase your basketball IQ and to, most importantly, help you become a better basketball player. But I have a free workout, a 370 shot shooting workout. I call it a full spectrum workout. If you would like a free copy of it, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel, leave a comment below letting me know that you subscribed, and then DM me on Instagram or Twitter at @MasonWaters_, and just say, hey, I subscribed to your YouTube, let me get that workout. Say something like that. As we look at Ja Morant and any other professional player for that matter, it's important to realize that their athleticism and their skill and their wingspan and their height is exceptional. In those areas, these players that we study are in the top 0.0001%. So a lot of the athleticism and dunking and all those categories of basketball, not really for the player that I'm targeting with these videos. Instead, we are going to look at the basic fundamentals such as contesting shots, cutting if your defender collapses in on the post, reading a defender and how they play a down screen, being efficient with your dribble, so on and so forth. We're going to look at those and a lot more here in this video. So my advice for players before we dive into the film session here is to just take away simple concepts, basic, simple, fundamental concepts, and implement them into your game. Basketball is not complex, and if you can simplify it and execute those basic fundamentals, then your ability to grow as a basketball player is only going to increase. So with all that said, let's dive into this video of Ja Morant, and I hope you find it helpful. These first three clips, we're going to look at transition sequences. So the first clip we'll watch here, full speed, Ja Morant is on the ball, he's playing defense, and he's going to leak out for a dunk. We're not so much paying attention to the dunk on this clip, but there's a couple things I wanted to point out, things that players can implement into their game. So the first thing right here is how Ja Morant contests this jump shot. If you get the chance, look at your film from last season, from this travel ball season, whenever, watch your film and notice if you contest a jump shot like this right here. So this is a great jump shot. You have full extension with Ja Morant's left hand. His hand is straight up to the ceiling, so he's not reaching and trying to block the shot with his hand like coming downwards towards the floor and trying to block a shot. All he's trying to do is contest the shot right here. And then as he lands, look how he's staying straight up. This arm is remaining straight up, pointed towards the ceiling, and this left arm that he contested the shot with is not coming down. Secondly, look where he lands. He allows the shooter to land without fouling. So Ja Morant had a great contest, fully extended, allowed the shooter to land without fouling. And then after that, the key here is he took off in an absolute sprint. He doesn't jog, he doesn't go half speed, he sprints. And the last thing from this play is that he gets from a contested shot, outlet pass, and the key, one dribble. All he had to do was take one dribble before he got to the rim on that. Okay, second play right here. This is another transition play, and this is super, super simple, but a play that a lot of players don't make. Transition, Ja Morant gets the handoff and immediately passes to his teammate who's wide open on the wing. It is just stupidly simple, but it's amazing how many players don't make these kind of plays. And the key here is I think a lot of players, when they catch this kind of pass, they might be thinking, ooh, how can I score? Or, ooh, who can I cross up and do a 18 dribble combo move in front of? Instead, what you need to do, if this is you in a situation, you get a handoff, just see who's open, where the defense is, and if somebody is open, pass it to them. So many players they're not willing to make simple passes, but sometimes most times, simple passes are the best play that you can make in your offense. So very simple there. This next play is another transition. So it's really it's kind of a 3-on-3. Not really paying attention to the dunk there, any of the crazy stuff. But right here, all right, so we're going to pick it up right here. So good shot blocking, good contest at the rim, And first of all, notice this. This is just good basketball IQ. First of all, this defender anticipates the cutter and meets him at the rim. We're not even talking about Ja Morant, who's right here. We're talking about this defender. This help side defender anticipates the pass from Kevin Love, slides over in front of the defender, and then look how he contests the shot. So just how we looked at Ja Morant's jump shot contesting a jump shot a couple clips ago, the same principles apply here, where the rim protector is using his body to go straight up and down. His hand is going straight up and down, even though he ends up blocking the shot. But he uses his body to go straight up and down at first, and then when the ball exposes itself, it's an easy block because the block is available, and it's easier to block a shot on a layup than it is a jump shot. Nonetheless, good contest. Back to Ja Morant. As soon as he picks up the ball, look where his eyes are. His eyes are down the floor. He's trying to see how many defenders are going to be dropping in the paint, and then how many teammates he has to run alongside him. So as we go here, this is what my guess is. You can see Kevin Love right here is running side by side with Jay Crowder. So because Kevin Love and this is great defense by Kevin Love, from a defensive perspective, you want this to be you. You want to be the trailing defender who is sprinting back into the play to get into help and prevent a pass. So Kevin Love prevents this pass to Jay Crowder. So essentially, I think this is the read I think that Ja Morant makes. He says, okay, well, Kevin Love's taking him out. So now we've got two offensive players on one defender. And then the defender who's protecting the rim, see, you can say here Jay Crowder is still not open, but you can see the rim defender slides all the way in front of Ja Morant. Therefore, Ja Morant drops the ball off to his teammate and he gets a dunk. Now, another thing, too, to be wary of in these is if you're a guard and you're making this pass, you don't want to make this pass too deep. You can see there's a good, couple, maybe 3-4 feet distance here between Ja Morant and his defender. You want to have a little bit, I'm not talking about Kevin Love, I'm talking about this defender. You want to have that space because the closer the ball handler gets to the defender, the more likely it is that the defender can get their hand out into the passing lane and get a deflection. So try to pass it early if you can, but since the defender commits fully to Ja Morant, the defender's chest is between the rim and Ja Morant. Ja makes the pass. As opposed to, if this defender's arm, instead of his body, if his arm was all that's between the rim and Ja Morant, then Ja Morant probably could have taken it to the rim. But fully commits, dumps it off, gets a good finish. All right, so another transition here. This one's very simple. The athleticism here by Ja Morant is super impressive, but I wanted to point out a couple things. First of all is we looked at a clip a second ago like this. As soon as Ja Morant catches the ball, his eyes are looking down the floor. He's not thinking, ooh, who can I do 18 double crossover, step back, all that bull crap. He's not thinking that. He's thinking, which teammate is sprinting, which teammate is open, and can I pass it to him? His eyes are down the floor looking to advance it with the pass. The second thing is the very, very simple dribble move that he uses to get past James Harden. It is a very simple and quick crossover. This crossover is unique too because it's two very fast dribbles. I don't know what you'd call this kind of crossover, but basically what happens here, Ja Morant puts the ball out in front here and then immediately crosses back over. And then another thing he does when he does the crossover here, watch his right hand. So his right hand right now has the ball, but as he goes past James Harden, he tries to swipe, which just means Ja Morant is using his right hand to swipe away James Harden's hand. Now, from there, two more points I want to make in this play. Notice how many dribbles. Okay, so after he got past half court, notice how many dribbles it takes for Ja Morant from this point at half court, the ball's at half court, how many dribbles it takes him to get from half court to the rim. Let's count. 1, 2. after a crossover, he's able to get to the rim in just 2 dribbles, which is highly impressive. The least amount of dribbles you can use to get down the floor, the better. That's called efficiency. The last point here is this teammate right here. Ja Morant is able, and this shows why basketball is such a team game. We watch Instagram trainers and watch all the dribble moves and scoring moves that they do, but at the end of the day, real basketball is played with real teammates in real situations where you have to have people helping you out to score. So this rim runner right here, he sprints to the rim, he posts up, and like if Ja Morant were to get stopped on the perimeter by one of these defenders, he's in good post position where Ja Morant could feed him in the post and get a score. But Ja Morant beats the first line of defense, and then this rim runner basically sets a screen on his teammate, which allows on his defender, which allows Ja Morant to get a nice, easy layup. So these kind of plays right here is what we call winning basketball. It's unselfish, it's putting the team first, and it's not caring who gets the basket. All right, next play. Now these next couple of clips are Ja Morant him cutting off the ball, scoring without the ball. When I coached college, we called this a zero cut, which is just where you feed a big in the high post, in the elbow area. He catches the elbow extended. But a zero cut where Ja Morant's going to feed the post, and the key to making this cut get open is that you're treating this like a screen, which is exactly what it is. Ja Morant goes shoulder to shoulder with the big here so that his defender, 25 right here for the Heat, runs into the big. And now what the big's defender, so Myers Leonard here, is forced to do, since it was a good screen and good contact, watch what Myers Leonard has to do. Myers Leonard has to slide down, and he has to cover Ja Morant for a half second. Now, if this is a very, very good shooter, then you would have a wide open jump shot right here because Myers Leonard, because there was a good screen set, the Bigs defender has to slide back in to help, and then that allows and creates an open jump shot for the screener here. But I don't think this guy is a great three-point shooter. But as we shift back over to Ja Morant's perspective, what a lot of players will do is, they'll only look for the cut on the strong side. So the strong side of the floor is, if you split the court in half this way vertically, you've got the top half of the floor and then you have the bottom half of the floor. The top half is the strong side. What a lot of players do is they only think about getting the ball on the strong side. So once they finish this cut on the strong side of the floor, once they get to the opposite side of the rim, they really just give up on the cut. But a lot of times, the cut will be open on the opposite side of the rim, which it was right here, and now you've got a post up and scoring opportunity to go there. So the keys here, if you have, again, I call this a zero cut. Your coach or your program might call it something different. But if you're going to feed the post and cut off of them, run your defender into the big, force the big's defender to slide in to help, and then finish your cut and be willing to catch the ball on the opposite side of the rim. All right, moving on. This is a very simple play too. All right, so before I cut off this clip early, but I can't remember who fed the post. It might have been somebody. It might have been a wing player who fed the post and then cut opposite. It might have been, I don't know, Ja Morant might have fed. I don't know how the ball got in there. But the principle here to learn is, when I coached college, we called this a burn cut. So you feed the post. Whoever fed the post, fed the post. But Ja Morant, obviously this is his defender. Ja Morant's defender he's not doubling the post, he's fake doubling. You can tell right here. He's faking the double, and then he's going to return to cover Ja. This is called a stunt. So this defender right here, he's just stunting at the post. And by stunting, he's trying to make this defender pick up the ball. And he's also trying to make it look like he's trying to create a double team or execute a double coverage. But what Ja Morant notices is that when this defender leaves to go stunt, or if it was another situation where we went to double team, Ja Morant is a great finisher. He's not at least to my knowledge, he's not a great three-point shooter, so he's making the right decision to try to finish at the rim. So because his defender leaves, he cuts, and also he makes the proper read. But what's also good is he's under control. So I love this finish right here. He catches, and he goes 1-2, and it's a 2-foot finish. He protects the ball. He's on balance, and he finishes with his left hand. A lot of players, what they would do is they would catch this, and they would go off 1 foot, and then they wouldn't protect the ball. But by going off of 2 feet, you get balance, you get strength, and you're able to protect the ball from the defender more effectively. All right, moving on. Next clip here. So this looks like a set action. The key here, this is a very, very difficult finish to be able to finish with your left hand on an inside reverse layup. So we're not focusing on that, but we're focusing on the action and the read here. So the action is just a ball reversal. And this is a set because you can tell Ja Morant's waiting for it. So they're just going to reverse the ball. This is the big who's trailing. Ja's going to pass to the big, who's going to pass to the opposite wing. And then the big is going to set an away screen for Ja Morant. So ball reversal. Now the key here is look how Ja Morant is setting up his cut. He's walking into his cut. That's the key. He's walking. 1-2. Walking into it. And then when he reads, he plants off of this top foot very aggressively and very quickly and gets to the rim. Notice how many steps he takes too once he reads the defender. Well, he makes the proper read because the defender, you can tell the defender right here, the defender is jumping that screen. He's trying to jump the pass, so Ja Morant makes the proper read and goes backdoor. But back to his footwork, you can see his footwork. He plants off of his top foot. He takes 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, and he's at the rim. A lot of players at every level, they take, within this area, they would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps before they started moving towards the rim. So the key here, read the defense, or I guess I should say first, walk into your screen, read the defense, and then on your cuts, be as efficient as possible with your footwork by using the least amount of steps possible. All right, so this is a great play. One of the plays we looked at earlier was just so stupidly simple, but it says so much about winning basketball and the kind of player that Ja is. So right here, let's just run through it full speed. It's an offensive rebound and a 3. Super, super simple. But here's why this play is so impressive. You got Ja Morant in here, who is, they say he's 6'1". I don't know what they might say he's 6'3". I don't know exactly how tall he is. Sometimes those numbers are off. But you have JaVale McGee, who's 7 foot. You got Anthony Davis, who's about 7 foot. And you got LeBron James, who is freaking LeBron James. So you have 3 absolute beasts down here. 2 of the best players in the NBA, and then a great post player. But the hustle right here is a winning play. Ja Morant gets between Anthony Davis and JaVale McGee, fully extends for this basketball, tips it out to his teammate, and relocates for a 3. Super, super simple, but the effort and the hustle is what makes Ja Morant a winner and is the kind of plays that a lot of players listening to this need to capitalize on more. All right, so we watched in my Trae Young film study, if you saw that, we looked at something similar, but we're going to look at ball screen clips here. I think we got a couple more clips. But this right here is called putting the defender in jail. So what it looks like here is they've got a ball screen, a double ball screen where Ja Morant, he can go left or right. He decides to go left. And the defender, Eric Gordon, goes over the screen. So when the defender goes over the screen, that's a good opportunity to execute a lot of different moves, but one in particular, especially if you're a good driver, is called putting the defender in jail, or I call it a dribble hold. There's a lot of different terminologies for it. Let's just call it a dribble hold for right now. But a dribble hold is when your defender goes over the screen and you stop kind of in the mid-range area. So you can stop at the elbow, right inside the three-point line. But Ja Morant is going to stop, hold his dribble, and notice how his dribble is right here. His dribble is low and really out in front of his body. If the dribble is high, up to his waist or up to his shoulders, and the ball is closer to his body, well, Eric Gordon can just poke the basketball out from behind. But instead, the dribble's out low in front. Low, it's out in front, and Ja Morant he stays in place. Sorry, stuttering a little bit. He stays in place for just a second. And what this does now is the bigs defender, so 15 right here, once the screener starts rolling, now the screener's defender has to back up, which now, since Ja Morant held the defender on his back, because the roller is rolling, he's causing the defender to drop, which allows Ja Morant to get an open floater right there. So that's called a dribble hold, putting the defender on your back. A good scoring move to add into your pick and roll offense. All right, so this is a kind of a set. I don't know if it's a set call or what, but this is called a ghost screen. And a ghost screen is like a ball screen, but it's an automatic action where the screener is going to run up to the defender, act like they're going to set a screen, but then just slip it and go out to the perimeter. And the ghost screen is good for 3-point shooters, because what the goal is here, so you have Jay Crowder who can shoot the three. The goal of a ghost screen is that you want the screener, their defender, to hedge up on the ball. And while this defender is hedging over the screen or on the ball, then the screener is already popping out for a three. That's not the coverage that happened here, but that's what a ghost screen is and one of the reasons for it. But after the ghost screen, the key here is very simple. Ja Morant has a very, very simple dribble move to get to the rim. Notice, I personally think James Harden he's an amazing world-class player. I love watching him. World talent, all-time scorer, great. But every single basketball player who's not James Harden does not need to pick up his moves. They need to pick up moves like this. They don't need James Harden 18 dribbles to create a scoring move. They need Ja Morant scoring move, where all you got to do is go between the legs, explode to the rim, and then finish. Now, other than it just being a very, very simple dribble move, look at the angle of Ja Morant's body when he drives here. So he's kind of straight up. He's in a decently athletic position, but he's going to change speed, and he's going to go from straight up. And now when he drives, look at his body angle. His feet are behind his body. His chest is facing downwards, and his body is almost parallel to the ground. And then the power of his drive is shown by the defender. Watch how the defender blows, kind of gets blown up by Ja Morant right here. So because Ja Morant is low, because he's strong, and because he gets his shoulder into the defense, he creates that space right there and allows for himself to get to the rim. Now the other thing right here, one more point on the drive, is the angle of his drive. So after he goes between the legs, he doesn't circle. He doesn't take a circular or banana cut type of angle to get to the rim. He does his dribble move, and now from here, he is going in a straight line from here straight to the rim as best as he can. Whenever you're driving, that's what you want to do. You want to always, one of my friends who's a scout with the Chicago Bulls, he says basketball's played in straight lines and sharp angles. And that's exactly what Ja Morant does here. All right, we'll watch this. I try to keep these 20 minutes, so I won't get into detail on this one. But this one right here is a dribble hold again that we saw a minute ago. Let me see how many more we got. All right, we got two more. I just want to watch this. We're going to watch this one, and then we'll be finished. So this one right here is a very simple read. So what you have is you've got a down screen. So the action right here is going to be a down screen first into a dribble handoff. So what's basically happening is this guy has the basketball. He's following the screener, and he knows he's going to hand it off to Ja Morant. So Ja Morant is going to come off that action. what's going to happen is, I think they've got a miscommunication on the switch. I think a defender maybe called a switch and they just didn't switch effectively. But all 3 defenders are caught under these 2 screeners. And since all 3 of them are caught under the screen, then Ja Morant has a wide open three-pointer, takes his time, and knocks it down. And notice Ja's pace right here too. He's not in a hurry. A lot of players, they just always so sped up and playing so fast. You can play slow, make a read, get your balance, and knock down the 3. All right, I wanted to skip this one because it's kind of going longer than I usually would like to. That wraps up this film session looking at Ja Morant. Again, if you want that free 370 shot workout, I call it a full spectrum workout, shooting workout, just subscribe. Comment below letting me know you subscribed, and then you can DM me at MasonWaters_. If you already are subscribed to this channel, just send me a DM over on Instagram or Twitter. I'll be happy to send that over to you. Basketball is a very simple game, and I hope that players, you were able to pick up a few simple concepts here, a read, a cut, a dribble move, whatever it is, so that you can help improve your game. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to sharing more videos with you here. Take care.